Once upon a time, in a village far away, there lived two men, both called Claus. One man owned 4 horses, so he was called Big Claus. The other one only had 1 horse, so they called him Little Claus. The whole week, Little Claus had to plough for Big Claus and lend him his only horse. In return, Big Claus lent Little Claus all his 4 horses, but only on Sundays. Each Sunday, Little Claus proudly cracked his whip over all 5 horses. When he passed the other villagers going to church, he pretended as if he owned them. "Tally-ho, get up, all of my 5 fine horses," he cried. Big Claus got annoyed. "Oi, stop pretending those are your horses. Otherwise I'll knock your nag down," he threatened. But another crowd of people came past, and Little Claus couldn't resist showing off. "Get up, all my 5 horses," he said. Big Claus was furious. He grabbed a mallet, clunked Little Claus's horse on the head, and it dropped down, dead. Little Claus was devastated. With nothing left in the world, he skinned his dead horse, put the hide in a big sack, and went to sell it at market. It was a long way, and he had to pass through a dark forest when a terrible storm blew up. He saw a nearby farmhouse and knocked on the door, but the farmer's wife wouldn't let him in. There was a large haystack nearby, and Little Claus decided it would be a good bed. He climbed up and realized that he could see through the farmhouse window. There was the farmer's wife enjoying a nice fish supper with the sexton and drinking all the farmer's wine. Just then the sound of cartwheels came clattering along the road. The farmer was back. He wouldn't be happy to see his wife entertaining the sexton. Little Claus watched through the window as the farmer's wife quickly hid the food and wine in the oven, made the sexton hide in a large chest. When the farmer approached the house, he saw Little Claus on the haystack. "Who's up there?" he called. "It's a terrible night. Come inside for some shelter." Inside, the guilty-faced farmer's wife served them some plain porridge. Little Claus would have much preferred the grilled fish and wine hidden in the oven, so he kicked his sack, making the hide squeak. "What's that?" the farmer asked. "It's a conjurer," Little Claus lied. "He says we don't have to eat porridge, so he's conjured up some food and wine for us in the oven." The farmer opened the oven and was amazed to find the feast there. Little Claus kicked the sack and made it squeak again. "What's your conjurer saying now?" the farmer asked. "He says he's conjured up the devil who looks just like the sexton, and he's hiding in your chest," Little Claus fibbed. The farmer went to open the chest and saw the sexton, and quickly slammed it shut again. Amazed, he begged Little Claus to sell him the conjurer and name his price. So Little Claus agreed for a bushel of money, a wheelbarrow, and the chest. He went on through the forest until he came to a deep, wide river with a very strong current, making it impossible to swim across. Fortunately, there was a brand new bridge over the river, and Little Claus wheeled the barrow halfway across. "What shall I do with this silly chest?" he said in a deliberately loud voice so the sexton could hear. "It's too heavy to wheel. I'll throw it in the river." "Don't!" the sexton cried furiously, hammering the side of the lid. "Let me out, I'll give you another bushel of money." So Little Claus let him out and put the second bushel in his barrow and wheeled it home. Big Claus was shocked to see how much money Little Claus had. "Surely your horsehide couldn't have been worth that much?" he asked. "It certainly did," Little Claus lied. Big Claus went and got his axe and killed and skinned his own horses. All day and night he shouted up and down the street, "Horses' hides! Horses' hides! Who'll buy horses' hides for a bushel apiece?" But the people laughed at his price, and then they got angry. "He's taking us for fools and trying to rip us off," they said. So the shoemakers took their straps and their tanners took their leather aprons, and they beat Big Claus through the town. "We'll tan your hide if you don't get out of town," they threatened. Big Claus was furious and determined that Little Claus wouldn't fool him again, so he grabbed him and threw him in a sack. "Now we'll take you to the river and drown you," he said. On the way, Big Claus stopped to go to church, leaving the sack outside. Little Claus struggled to get out of the sack and was spotted by an elderly drover. "Oh, I'm too young to be going to heaven," he cried from inside the sack. "And I'm too old for this earth, but heaven won't send for me," the old drover said. So Little Claus suggested they swap places, and the elderly drover was only too happy to agree. When Big Claus came out of the church, he unknowingly picked up the sack with the drover, tossed him in the river, and drowned him. As he walked back, he was shocked to meet Little Claus on the road with the drover's herd of cattle. "How did you get here?" Big Claus asked. "And where did you get those fine cows?" "When you threw me in the river, I ended up in the kingdom of the sea people," Little Claus told him. "They gave me this herd of magic cattle. There are hundreds of fine cows roaming around down there." "You're a lucky fellow," Big Claus said. "How can I get some of those cows?" "You'll just have to go in the river," Little Claus told him. So Big Claus got himself into another sack, and Little Claus rolled him in the water, where he sank to the bottom and was never seen again. "I'm afraid he won't find what I found," said Little Claus. He herded his cattle home, where his bushels of gold waited, and lived happily ever after. And that is a true story.